While the war over the budget may be turning into a series of pitched battles, at least one of the Senate's senior Republicans is predicting that instead of a long-term deal, there will now be a string of stopgap measures in the coming months. South Dakota Republican Senator John Thune is on the Budget and Finance Committees and chairs the Republican Policy Committee. Thanks so much for joining us, Senator. What about the negotiations between Republicans and Democrats in the Senate and the suggestion from Senator Schumer only yesterday that that now be broadened to include the House for a bigger negotiation?
Well, good afternoon, Andrea, and I hope we can get some negotiations going on this. As you know, we had a test vote yesterday. We had a vote on what the House had passed in the Senate. That didn't get the 60 votes that were necessary for passage. The Democrats offered up a puny alternative, $4.7 billion in cuts for the rest of the fiscal year, and that didn't get the 60 votes that are necessary for passage. And I think Republicans we're open for business. We're waiting for Democrats, particularly here in the Senate, to put something forward that is serious. And for the White House, the president has been missing in action during this whole debate, and if we're actually going to get something done here, I think he's going to have to get involved, and I hope he will.
Of course, their argument is that they have been involved. The Vice President, Bill Daley, have all been up on the Hill negotiating, but they're waiting for Republicans to get serious about entitlement reform. And Mitch McConnell, your colleague, your leader, was on with Mika Brzezinski this morning, and he was saying we're waiting for the president. If both sides keep saying after you, nobody's going to make a move.
Well, remember, the president is the leader. He's the elected leader, the president of this country, and obviously, in order for something big to get done, he's going to have his involvement in it. But right now, I think we're dealing with the unfinished business of last year, which is a continuing resolution that would fund government for the end of this fiscal year.
Right.
The House put forward $60 billion in cuts. We had that vote in the Senate. It failed. The Democrats have offered up $4.7 billion in cuts. That's a long ways apart. Now, the issue of entitlement reform, which they're saying should be a part of this, we believe it ought to be part of the 2012 budget discussions, which will be coming on top of the remainder of these 2011 negotiations, which are being wrapped up right now. But we're ready to deal on that. I think Republicans want a solution when it comes to entitlement reform. But again, you've got to have some leadership. The Democrats control the United States Senate. They have the majority. You have the President of the United States in the White House. Neither has put forward anything yet that is meaningful and serious when it comes to spending reduction and debt reduction.
Well, I think that some people out there would say, you know, your constituents would say you're all elected, you've all taken an oath of office. The president, yes, needs to show the leadership. So do members of the Hill, Republican and Democratic. The Democrats, of course, say that their budget numbers are closer to $6.2 billion. It depends on whether or not you count rescissions. I know that there's a difference on what the baseline is, but either way, you're about, $50 billion apart, and that is a big, big gap. Senator, one quick question. With all of this going on and these big challenges, why did you decide not to run for president? Maybe your leadership is what's needed.
Well, thank you, Andrea. One of the reasons I decided not to run for president is because I don't think we can wait 2 years, and there are big challenges ahead of us, and I feel like I'm right in the middle of it here in the United States Senate. I hope that we can do something about getting discretionary spending under control, which is the issue before us right now, and that we can do something about the longer-term challenge of entitlement reform, tax reform, getting people back to work in this country. We have to start living within our means. We have got to quit spending money that we don't have, and the sooner that Washington learns that, the better it will be for our economy, the better it will be for job creation, and the better it will be for the next generation. And right now, those things are all at risk because of these the irresponsibility when it comes to fiscal issues here in Washington.
Thank you very much, Senator John Thune. Thanks for being with us.